Welcome to Motivation Compilation.
A spark of light, a guiding station in the heart of every compilation motivation.
Download free and be inspired.
Download free files and be motivated.
Like and subscribe to my channel for watching new interesting videos.
So, how to boost your motivation with TikTok dance in 10 steps. My name is Emma, I'm 25 years old, and I want to share a story about how TikTok dance transformed my life. Just a year ago, I couldn't have imagined that it would help me find motivation, energy, and joy in my everyday routine. But it all began with a question I couldn't stop asking myself. Why do I feel so drained and unmotivated all the time? This is a story about how I discovered TikTok dances and found motivation to move forward. Quite literally. Step 1. Recognizing the need for change. I worked as an office manager in a big New York City company. Every day, I spent hours in front of a computer doing repetitive tasks. In my free time, I either scrolled through social media or binge-watched TV shows. Life felt like it had come to a standstill. One evening, while aimlessly scrolling through TikTok, I stumbled upon a video of a girl my age dancing to a trending song. Her moves were light, playful, and she looked genuinely happy. I thought to myself, why not try this too? Have you ever had a moment where you realized something in your life needed to change? Step 2. Taking the first awkward steps. The next day I decided to learn that same dance. Standing in front of my bedroom mirror, I played the video and tried to replicate her moves. My feet got tangled, my arms flailed, and let's just say it didn't look great. But even in that awkwardness, I felt something new. Laughter. I laughed at myself and it felt amazing. For the first time in ages, I was doing something purely for me. I kept at it, watching tutorials and breaking the dance into smaller, manageable parts. I realized that every small improvement felt like an achievement. That sense of progress was addictive. It kept me coming back for more. Step 3. Finding joy in movement. Day by day, I started feeling more confident. Dancing became my after-work ritual. Instead of collapsing on the couch, I searched for new TikTok trends and challenged myself to learn them. I noticed that dancing not only improved my mood but also filled me with energy. It wasn't just about the moves anymore. The music, the rhythm, and the way my body responded felt like therapy. I started to associate dancing with happiness and relief from stress. Even after a tough day at work, dancing became my escape. Step 4. Building a routine. After a few weeks, I realized that motivation doesn't just magically appear. You have to create it. I started scheduling my dance sessions just like I scheduled meetings. 3 days a week, I carved out time to dance. Do you have something in your life that you do regularly to keep yourself motivated? If not, think about what it could be. I even set reminders on my phone, and each time the alarm went off, it felt like a mini promise to myself. This consistency helped me stay on track, even on days when I didn't feel like moving. Step 5. Overcoming self-doubt. It wasn't all smooth sailing. One day, I decided to record myself to see how much I'd improved. Watching the playback, I felt disappointed. My moves were clumsy, and I didn't look anything like the skilled dancers on TikTok. For a moment, I wanted to quit. But then I reminded myself that no one starts as a professional. I forced myself to keep going and repeated the moves over and over. With every attempt, I got better. I also started following beginner-friendly TikTok creators who shared their own progress and struggles. Knowing I wasn't alone made it easier to push past my self-doubt. Step 6. Inspiration from the community. TikTok isn't just a platform, it's a massive community. I started connecting with others who were also learning to dance. We shared videos, gave each other tips, and supported one another through moments of doubt. It was incredibly inspiring. One of my favorite memories was joining a TikTok dance duet. Even though I'd never met the other person, the collaboration felt like being part of something bigger. It wasn't just about me anymore, it was about connection. Step 7. Setting goals. After 3 months of consistent dancing, I decided to push myself further. I signed up for my first TikTok dance challenge. It was terrifying, but it gave me the motivation to work even harder. I set small milestones like mastering one move at a time or filming a full dance sequence without stopping. Each goal kept me focused and gave me a reason to celebrate along the way. Step 8. Celebrating small wins. When I completed my first challenge and received likes and comments, it felt like a victory. A small one, but one that mattered deeply to me. I remember one comment that said, "You're glowing. Your energy is contagious." That single sentence reminded me why I started this journey, to bring joy back into my life. What small wins have you celebrated recently? Sometimes even the tiniest victories can make a huge difference. Step 9. Dance as a metaphor for life. Dancing taught me something profound. How to fall and get back up. It showed me that every mistake is part of the journey. Just like in life, sometimes you stumble, but the key is to keep moving forward. One evening, after a particularly frustrating day at work, I almost skipped my dance session. But I reminded myself why I started. I turned on the music and began to move. By the end of the session, my stress had melted away, and I felt ready to tackle whatever came next. Step 10. Sharing the inspiration. Today, I don't just dance for myself. I help others find motivation through TikTok. I post videos sharing my story and showing how dance helped me change my life. Some of my followers started sharing their own stories about how they found joy and confidence through dance. This sense of community and shared growth keeps me motivated to continue. Dancing became more than just movement. It was a rhythm that seeped into every corner of my life. I found myself saying yes to things I would have previously shied away from. Social invitations that once felt daunting now excited me. A coworker invited me to a salsa class, and instead of nervously declining, I showed up. The confidence I had built through TikTok dancing gave me the courage to try new styles and step into unfamiliar spaces. Those salsa nights turned into weekly meetups with a group of friends who shared my love for music and movement. We bonded over laughter, missteps, and the joy of improvement. Dancing didn't just strengthen my body, it strengthened my relationships. It reminded me of the importance of shared experiences and how they could bring people closer together. One of the most unexpected benefits of this journey was how it reshaped my perspective on challenges. Before, I saw obstacles as roadblocks. Now, I view them as opportunities to learn. That mindset shift became clear when I faced a tough project at work. It required late nights and navigating uncharted territory, but instead of feeling overwhelmed, I approached it like a dance routine. One step at a time, with room for mistakes and plenty of room for growth. When the project succeeded, my manager pulled me aside to commend my resilience and creativity. It was one of the proudest moments of my career. What surprised me most was how contagious my passion for dancing had become. Friends, colleagues, and even strangers online started sharing their stories of inspiration. A neighbor stopped me in the elevator one day and said, "I've been watching your TikToks. You've inspired me to start dancing with my kids after dinner. They love it." Those words filled me with a sense of purpose I'd never felt before. I wasn't just dancing for myself anymore. I was helping others find joy and connection through movement. As my TikTok community grew, so did the opportunities. Brands reached out, asking me to collaborate on campaigns promoting wellness and self-care. First, I hesitated. Could I balance this with my full-time job? Would it feel authentic? But I realized these opportunities aligned perfectly with my values. Sharing the joy of movement and its transformative power was something I genuinely believed in. So, I embraced these collaborations, carefully choosing projects that resonated with my journey. One evening, as I was scrolling through messages from followers, I came across a heartfelt note from a young woman named Claire. She wrote, "Emma, I've been struggling with anxiety for years. Watching your videos gave me the courage to dance again, even when I didn't feel like I could. Thank you for reminding me that small steps can lead to big changes." I stared at my screen, moved to tears. Claire's message reminded me of why I started and how far I'd come. It wasn't just about the dancing, it was about the hope, joy, and resilience it brought into people's lives. Today, my days are a blend of passion and purpose. Mornings often start with a quiet moment of gratitude and a playlist of my favorite songs. Evenings are filled with music, laughter, and the occasional misstep that reminds me I'm still learning. Every day feels like a celebration of growth, of how far I've come and the endless possibilities ahead. If there's one thing I've learned from this journey, it's that motivation is a practice, not a destination. It's something you nurture through action, community, and the courage to try. Dancing taught me to trust the process, embrace imperfection, and find beauty in every stumble. So to anyone reading this, I want to say, life is your dance floor. Step onto it, even if you're unsure of the steps. Let the rhythm guide you, and remember, it's not about how you look, it's about how you feel. Because when you move with joy and purpose, the rest falls into place. What's holding you back from taking that first step? Whether it's dancing or pursuing a dream that's been sitting in the back of your mind, start now. You have the music, the drive, and the potential to create something beautiful. The only thing left to do is move.
Thank you for watching.
Congratulations! You've listened to a useful story and are now receiving 202 motivational coins and PDF files.
Welcome to Motivation Compilation.
A spark of light, a guiding station in the heart of every compilation motivation.
Download free and be inspired.
Download free files and be motivated.
Like and subscribe to my channel for watching new interesting videos.
Why worldwide dance is useful for you. My name is Michael Smith, and I'm 30 years old, living in Los Angeles, California. If you told me a year ago that dance, yes, dance, would change my life, I would have laughed. But here I am, writing this story to explain how joining a worldwide dance movement turned out to be one of the most enriching experiences of my life. It started on an ordinary Monday evening. Work had been a drag, and I felt stuck in the monotony of a corporate 9 to 5. My coworker, Jenna, kept talking about these online dance challenges she was into. It's not just about the moves, she said. It's about the people, the energy, and feeling connected to something bigger than yourself. At first I brushed it off, thinking that's not my thing. But one evening, curiosity got the better of me. I clicked on a trending TikTok dance hashtag, and suddenly I was watching people from all over the world dancing to the same song, each with their unique spin. A guy in Japan, a family in Brazil, a group of friends in South Africa. It wasn't just entertaining, it was inspiring. How was it that all these people, separated by thousands of miles, could share the same moment of joy through dance? The first step, trying something new. I decided to give it a shot. Standing alone in my living room, I found a simple beginner dance challenge. It was awkward at first. My feet moved in the wrong directions and my timing was way off. But something surprising happened. I laughed. Not at myself, but from the sheer joy of moving. For the first time in months, I felt alive. Have you ever tried something completely outside your comfort zone and felt an unexpected spark of happiness? Building confidence through practice. What started as a one-time experiment turned into a nightly ritual. I'd come home, clear a space in my living room, and tackle a new dance challenge. The more I practiced, the more confident I became, not just in my dancing but in myself. I started to feel lighter, more energized, and ready to take on other challenges in life. Connection without borders. What really blew me away was the sense of community. I started posting my dance attempts online, and people from different countries began commenting. A guy from Italy shared tips on perfecting my footwork. A woman from India tagged me in a duet video where she mirrored my moves. These weren't just random interactions, they were genuine connections with people I would never have met otherwise. Why worldwide dance is different. Dancing with people from around the globe taught me something profound. No matter where we're from, we all share the same desire for joy, creativity, and connection. It's more than just learning choreography. It's a celebration of culture and humanity. Through dance, I've been exposed to music styles I'd never heard before and moves rooted in traditions I knew nothing about. It's like traveling the world without ever leaving your home. Have you ever felt like you were part of something bigger than yourself? Better me. 1 year later, I'm not the same person I was when I first hit play on that TikTok hashtag. I'm healthier, physically and mentally. Dancing has become my stress reliever, my workout, and my creative outlet. But more importantly, it's taught me to embrace new experiences and connect with others in ways I never thought possible. So why is worldwide dance useful for you? Because it's not just about the moves. It's about the journey. It's about breaking out of your routine, finding your rhythm, and connecting with a global community that reminds you that you're never truly alone. And who knows? You might just discover a version of yourself you didn't know existed. I've realized that the joy of dance doesn't stop with the moves. It extends far beyond, weaving its way into every part of my life. Over time, dancing became more than just a hobby. It became a way to understand myself, to embrace life's ups and downs, and to connect with others in ways I never thought possible. Through this journey, I've learned some of the most important lessons of my life. One of them is to let go of perfection. When I started dancing, I was obsessed with getting every move right. But the more I danced, the more I realized that the beauty of it wasn't in perfection. It was in the freedom to move, to express, to be vulnerable. That freedom carried over into my daily life. I stopped trying to control everything and began embracing the unpredictability of life. And you know what? That's when the magic started happening. Another lesson was about resilience. Learning a new routine wasn't always easy. There were moments when I felt frustrated, like I'd never get it right. But every time I pushed through, I discovered something about myself, that I'm capable of more than I think. That resilience seeped into other areas of my life. At work, I started approaching challenges with a new mindset. Instead of shying away from tough tasks, I faced them head-on, knowing that persistence would lead to progress. The connections I've built through dance are perhaps the most profound part of this experience. Meeting people from different cultures, learning their stories, and sharing laughs and encouragement has reminded me that we're all more alike than we are different. A duet with a stranger from halfway across the world isn't just a fun collaboration. It's a reminder that creativity and joy are universal languages. And now, every time I see a comment from someone saying they started dancing because of me, I feel this deep sense of purpose. It's a reminder that small actions can inspire meaningful change. Physically, I'm in the best shape of my life, but the mental transformation has been even greater. I found a way to manage stress, channel my energy, and even enhance my creativity. Dancing has taught me that movement isn't just physical, it's emotional and spiritual. It's about letting your soul speak when words aren't enough. A year ago, I never would have believed that I'd be leading a local dance group or hosting virtual sessions for people who want to get started. But here I am, sharing this passion with others and watching them grow through it too. One of my favorite moments was when a friend told me, "You've made me see exercise and self-expression in a whole new light." That's what dance is for me. A way to blend joy, connection, and wellness into something transformative. Now, when I look back at where I started, I feel grateful, not just for the decision to try something new, but for everything that followed. This journey has shown me that change doesn't have to be monumental. Sometimes all it takes is a single step in a new direction. So, if you've been hesitant to try something that sparks your curiosity, I encourage you to take that leap. Whether it's dancing, painting, or learning an instrument, the rewards go far beyond the skill itself. You'll discover parts of yourself you didn't know existed, connect with people who inspire you, and gain a sense of fulfillment that's hard to put into words. Dance has taught me to live fully, to embrace life's rhythm, and to trust that every step, no matter how small or clumsy, has the power to lead to something beautiful. It's not just about moving to the music. It's about moving through life with courage and joy. And now, as I finish writing this, I have just one question for you. What's stopping you from taking that first step toward something that could change your life? How dance helped my friend overcome depression. Dancing didn't just transform my life. It also made me realize how powerful it can be for others. One of the most incredible experiences I've had was watching my best friend, Sarah, use dance to pull herself out of one of the darkest periods in her life. Her journey reminded me of the strength we can find in the simplest things, and it's a story I feel compelled to share. A little over a year ago, Sarah wasn't in a good place. She'd always been the most energetic, cheerful person I knew, the kind of friend who could light up a room just by walking into it. But after going through a tough breakup and losing her job in the same month, her spark seemed to fade. She withdrew from our group, stopped answering calls, and spent most of her days in bed. When I finally managed to visit her, she told me she felt like a failure. I don't even know who I am anymore, she said. I knew she needed help, but Sarah was reluctant to see a therapist. It's too expensive, she said, brushing off the idea. I didn't want to push her, so instead I decided to share something that had helped me. Dancing. First she laughed. Dancing. You know I have zero rhythm, she said, rolling her eyes. But I convinced her to try just one simple TikTok routine with me. Think of it as a distraction, I told her. Just a few minutes. No pressure. I still remember that first session. We stood in her tiny living room, music playing softly from my phone. Sarah hesitated, standing stiffly as I walked her through the steps. It wasn't perfect, far from it, but halfway through she cracked a smile. By the time we finished, we were both laughing, out of breath but lighter somehow. It was the first time I'd seen her smile in weeks. After that, I started visiting her regularly, and dancing became our thing. It wasn't just about the moves. It was about creating moments of joy in a space that had felt so heavy. Sarah began looking forward to our sessions. When are we dancing next? She'd text me, a small but significant shift in her tone. Little by little, I saw her energy returning. She started talking about other things she wanted to try. Things she'd given up on because of her depression. One day, Sarah called me out of the blue, her voice full of excitement. I posted one of our dances on TikTok, she said. I was surprised. This was the same person who used to shy away from social media, worried about how she'd be perceived. But now she was putting herself out there, embracing the imperfection of it all. And you know what? People loved it. Comments poured in, cheering her on and sharing similar stories of how dancing had helped them through tough times. What amazed me the most was how dancing started replacing the things that had once felt like crutches. Sarah confessed that she used to spend hundreds of dollars on online therapy sessions she didn't feel connected to. I'm not saying dancing is a replacement for professional help, she told me, but it gave me something I hadn't felt in a long time, hope. Instead of spending money on therapists she didn't resonate with, she found healing in movement, connection, and community. Sarah's TikTok account grew, and with it came a sense of purpose. She started creating videos specifically to help others struggling with depression, sharing beginner-friendly routines and tips for using dance as a way to cope. Watching her blossom into this confident, vibrant person was like seeing the old Sarah again, but even stronger. One evening, as we sat in her now brighter apartment, she said something that stuck with me. You know, dancing didn't just save me money, it saved me. It gave me a reason to get up, to move, to laugh. It reminded me that I'm still here, still capable of feeling joy. Her words brought tears to my eyes because I knew exactly what she meant. Today, Sarah is thriving. She landed a new job, one she's passionate about, and she's even teaching a local dance class on weekends. Her sessions are full of people who were drawn to her story, inspired by the way she turned her struggles into something beautiful. Looking back, I realize that what started as a few awkward dance moves in her living room became so much more. It became a lifeline, a way to reconnect with herself and the world around her. It didn't fix everything overnight, but it gave her the strength to take the first steps toward healing. If there's one thing Sarah's story taught me, it's this. Sometimes the simplest things can have the most profound impact. Whether it's dancing, painting, or just taking a walk outside, finding a way to move through your struggles, literally and figuratively, can make all the difference. So, if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, I encourage you to try something new. You don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to do it alone. Find a friend, turn on some music, and take that first step. Who knows? You might just discover a new rhythm to life, one that brings you closer to joy, connection, and yourself.
Thank you for watching.
Congratulations! You've listened to a useful story and are now receiving 101 motivational coins and PDF files.
Listen to a useful story and boost your positive at the same time.
You may listen to a story and drink your favorite coffee, or eat something delicious, or drive a car, or do your favorite hobby at the same time.
Do two things at once with Motivation Compilation.
Download free and be inspired.
Download free files and be motivated.
Welcome to Motivation Compilation.
A spark of light, a guiding station in the heart of every compilation motivation.
How to find inspiration with TikTok dances. A 30-day free guide. My name is Ethan, and I'm 20 years old, living in New York City. If someone had told me a year ago that TikTok dances could inspire me and change my life, I would have laughed. Yet here I am, sharing how dedicating just 30 days to these dances not only boosted my confidence, but also helped me rediscover joy, creativity, and connection. It all started during a boring afternoon when I was scrolling through TikTok. My For You page was filled with trending dances, and I couldn't help but notice how happy people looked while doing them. I thought to myself, what if I gave this a try? I wasn't a dancer, and honestly, I didn't have much confidence. But something about the idea of learning these moves sparked a tiny flame inside me. The first awkward steps. I picked a simple trending routine and stood in front of my mirror. My arms flailed, my feet were all over the place, and I looked absolutely ridiculous. But halfway through, I started laughing, really laughing, for the first time in weeks. It felt good to let go of my insecurities and just move. Have you ever done something that made you laugh at yourself in the best way possible? It's a kind of joy you can't fake. Building a daily habit. For the first week, I made a promise to myself. 30 minutes of dancing every evening. No excuses. I struggled with coordination, but I noticed small improvements each day. By the end of the week, I could almost complete a routine without stopping. Each little victory made me feel proud, and for someone who often doubted himself, that feeling was priceless. By the end of the week, I found myself looking forward to dance time. It wasn't just an exercise anymore. It became my escape from the daily noise of life. Each new challenge felt like a puzzle, and with every solved piece, my confidence grew. The progress wasn't linear. I still stumbled, but the joy of improvement outweighed the frustration. Joining the TikTok community. After a week of practice, I decided to post one of my dance attempts. I was terrified. What if people laughed at me? But to my surprise, the comments were full of encouragement. You've got this. Keep going. People I didn't even know were rooting for me. That sense of support was incredible. One person from Canada messaged me, sharing tips on how to improve my timing. Another dancer from Japan tagged me in a duet where they mirrored my moves. It was then I realized that TikTok dances weren't just about the steps, they were about connection. The world felt a little smaller and a lot friendlier. I also started watching other beginners' videos. Their struggles and triumphs mirrored my own, and it made me feel part of something bigger. It wasn't just about perfecting moves. It was about celebrating the effort and joy in trying. Pushing past doubts. By the middle of the challenge, I started attempting more complex routines. Some days, I felt frustrated and wanted to quit. I'd record a video, watch it back, and think this is terrible. But then I reminded myself, it's okay not to be perfect. Those moments taught me resilience. I wasn't just learning dance moves. I was learning how to be kind to myself. Have you ever realized that pushing through challenges, even small ones, can change how you see yourself? I started using small tricks to stay motivated, like celebrating tiny wins or rewarding myself with a favorite snack after completing a tough routine. These small rewards turned my frustrations into milestones. Transformation through dance. The last 10 days were the most rewarding. I felt more confident, not just in my dancing but in my daily life. I signed up for a live virtual dance class, something I never thought I'd do. It was challenging, but I didn't feel scared anymore. I'd learned to embrace mistakes as part of the process. One evening, as I practiced a routine to a high-energy pop track, I realized how far I'd come. I wasn't the awkward, self-conscious guy from day one anymore. I was someone who felt strong, happy, and connected, not just to others but to myself. I even began experimenting with creating my own routines. They weren't TikTok-worthy, but they felt uniquely mine. Dancing stopped being just an activity. It became an expression of who I was becoming. Why a 30-day dance challenge works. This challenge taught me that inspiration isn't something you wait for. It's something you create. Dancing daily pushed me out of my comfort zone, helped me connect with people worldwide, and made me believe in myself again. The best part? It was free, fun, and accessible. All you need is a little courage and a phone. I also realized how impactful it was to integrate creativity into my daily routine. Dance became my meditation, my workout, and my joy. And knowing that others shared this journey made it even more meaningful. Final reflection. By the end of the 30 days, I didn't just learn to dance. I learned how to embrace life. TikTok dances showed me the beauty of creativity, the power of community, and the importance of letting go of perfection. If you're looking for a way to find inspiration, why not start with one dance? It might just change your life like it changed mine. And if you've ever wondered whether something as simple as dancing could really make a difference, let me tell you, it absolutely can. And now I'm going to tell you more about my grandmother. My grandmother, who's always been a pillar of wisdom in our family, is the last person you'd expect to see trying out TikTok dances. But she surprised us all by embracing something completely out of her comfort zone, and in the process, transforming her health, her outlook on life, and even her finances. She saved $1,400 on medications in just 1 year, all because of dance. It all started during one of my weekly visits. I noticed she seemed quieter than usual. Her energy was low, and she admitted she hadn't been sleeping well or feeling herself. "I'm just getting old," she said with a shrug. That broke my heart. My grandmother had always been vibrant, the kind of person who could whip up a feast while telling stories about her youth. Seeing her like this felt wrong. I told her about my dance journey and how it had lifted me out of a rut. "Why don't you join me for a session?" I suggested. She laughed, but I could see a glimmer of curiosity in her eyes. "Okay," she said, "but don't expect me to keep up with you." We started with a simple routine, a slow, swaying motion to an old classic I knew she loved. At first, she was hesitant, her movements stiff and unsure. But as the music played, something shifted. She started moving more freely, laughing at her own missteps. By the end of the song, she was smiling, a real, unguarded smile I hadn't seen in months. "This feels good," she admitted. What began as a one-time thing quickly turned into a ritual. Every week, I'd visit her and we'd dance. I tailored the routines to her comfort level, incorporating gentle stretches and simple steps. Over time, I noticed her movements becoming smoother and her balance improving. She began talking about how much better she felt. Her chronic aches and pains, which she'd been managing with a cocktail of medications, seemed to ease. One day, she pulled me aside and said, "Ethan, I think these sessions are doing more for me than my painkillers ever did." She started reducing her medication under her doctor's guidance and found that she didn't need as much as before. The regular movement, coupled with the joy of dancing, was working wonders for her body and mind. What surprised me most was how quickly she embraced the community aspect of dance. Word got around our family about our sessions, and soon, her friends wanted to join. She began hosting dance therapy gatherings in her living room. These weren't just exercises. They were social events filled with laughter, music, and connection. Women who had once complained about stiff joints and loneliness were now dancing and sharing stories. Her confidence grew, and so did her ambition. She convinced the community center to let her host a weekly dance class. I helped her set up a playlist and even joined in for a few sessions. Watching her lead a group of seniors in a dance routine was one of the proudest moments of my life. She had found a new purpose, and it was contagious. One evening, after a particularly lively session, she showed me a receipt from her pharmacy. "Look at this," she said, pointing to the dramatically reduced total. "I've saved $1,400 this year alone. And you know what? I don't even miss those pills. I feel better without them." She used the money she saved to invest in her classes, buying better speakers, decorations, and even snacks for her students. "If I can make them smile, it's worth every penny," she said. Her transformation didn't just inspire her friends, it inspired me. Seeing how something as simple as dance could have such a profound impact on her health and happiness made me realize the power of movement. It's not just about the physical benefits. It's about the emotional and social connections that come with it. My grandmother, who once saw herself as just getting old, had become a leader, a motivator, and a source of joy for so many. Looking back, I'm amazed at how far she's come. From hesitant steps in her living room to leading a community of dancers, she's shown me that it's never too late to embrace change. She's healthier, happier, and more confident than ever. And she's taught me that inspiration can come from the most unexpected places. So, what's stopping you? Whether it's dancing, painting, or trying something completely new, take that first step. You might stumble, you might laugh at yourself, but you'll also discover a part of you that's been waiting to shine. And who knows? You might even save a little money along the way.
Like and subscribe to my channel for watching new interesting videos.
Congratulations! You've listened to a useful story and are now receiving 202 motivational coins and PDF files.
Listen to a useful story and boost your positive at the same time.
You may listen to a story and drink your favorite coffee, or eat something delicious, or drive a car, or do your favorite hobby at the same time.
Do two things at once with Motivation Compilation.
Thank you for watching.
Download free and be inspired.
Download free files and be motivated.
So, how to transform your life with motivational TikTok dance challenges in 12 months. My name is Liam, I'm 25 years old, and I live in Austin, Texas. If you had told me a year ago that TikTok dance challenges would completely change my life, I would have rolled my eyes and laughed. But now, looking back, I can confidently say that those 12 months of dancing not only helped me rediscover myself but also gave me the tools to build confidence, find joy, and stay motivated. This is my story of transformation. How it all began. It started on a rainy day in January. I was stuck at home, scrolling aimlessly through TikTok when I came across a guy my age doing a simple but energetic dance challenge. He looked so carefree and confident. I couldn't stop thinking, what if I tried that? It wasn't that I thought I'd become a dancer overnight. I just wanted to feel that kind of freedom. That night, I stood in front of my mirror, opened TikTok, and clicked on the first beginner challenge I found. I felt ridiculous as my arms flailed and my feet tripped over each other. But somewhere in the middle of that awkward attempt, I smiled. For the first time in months, I felt like I was doing something just for me, something fun, something new. Month 1. Building a habit. The first month was all about consistency. I set a goal to dance for at least 20 minutes every day. Some days I was eager to learn new moves. Other days, I had to drag myself to the mirror. But each time I danced, I noticed a small shift in my mood. I felt
Like and
lighter,
subscribe to my channel for watching
and
new
more
interesting
energized.
videos.
By the end of the month, I could confidently complete a few routines without stopping or fumbling too much. Those small wins kept me motivated. Have you ever felt the power of sticking to a simple daily habit? It's amazing how small efforts can lead to big changes. Months 2 to 4. Overcoming self-doubt. As I continued, I faced a new challenge, self-doubt. Watching my own recordings felt cringeworthy. I'd pick apart every mistake, every awkward movement. There were days I wanted to quit because I didn't think I was good enough. But then I remembered why I started. I wasn't doing this to impress anyone, I was doing it for me. I gave myself permission to mess up and embraced the idea that progress mattered more than perfection. That mindset helped me push through. During this time, I also started posting my dances on TikTok. I was terrified of judgment, but to my surprise, the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. Strangers left comments like, "You're doing great," and "Keep it up, you're inspiring me." Those little notes of encouragement reminded me that it's okay to be vulnerable. Months 5 to 8. Finding community. Something magical happened during the middle of my journey. I found a community. Through TikTok, I connected with people from all over the world who were on similar journeys. We shared tips, duet each other's videos, and celebrated our progress together. One of the most memorable moments was when a dancer from Brazil messaged me to say my video inspired him to try a new routine. That's when I realized this was bigger than just me. Dance wasn't just about self-expression, it was about connection. Have you ever felt part of a community that truly lifts you up? It's a feeling like no other. Months 9 to 12. Transformation. By the last quarter of the year, I barely recognized the person I used to be. Dancing had become more than just a daily habit, it was a part of who I was. My confidence soared. I no longer hesitated to try new things, whether it was a complex routine or stepping out of my comfort zone in other areas of life. I even began choreographing my own routines. They weren't perfect, but they felt uniquely mine. Sharing them on TikTok and seeing others try my moves was an incredible feeling. It reminded me that we all have something to offer, even if it's not perfect. Lessons learned. Looking back, these 12 months taught me so much more than how to dance. Learned the power of persistence, sticking with something even when it's hard, pays off. The importance of joy, Making time for fun and creativity can transform your outlook on life. The value of community: we're stronger when we lift each other up. Most importantly, I learned that change is possible when you take the first step, no matter how small. Final reflection. If you're considering starting your own TikTok dance journey, my advice is simple: just start. You don't have to be perfect, and you don't need any fancy equipment. All you need is a willingness to try and a few minutes a day. Who knows? You might just find a version of yourself you never knew existed. Thank you for watching this video. And now I will share with you something that has stayed with me, a memory that still brings a smile to my face whenever I think of it. It's about the time I realized that dancing wasn't just about me or my journey. It became a bridge between me and someone very special in my life, my younger sister, Mia. Mia is 4 years younger than me and has always been the introvert of the family. While I've struggled with my own insecurities, Mia's have been different, quiet, invisible to most people but heavy nonetheless. She would hide behind her books, headphones, or screens, shutting herself off from the world when things got overwhelming. One day, I noticed her lingering around while I was practicing a new TikTok dance routine in the living room. She sat on the couch with her usual detached expression, scrolling through her phone, but I could feel her eyes darting to my movements. I paused the music and said, "You can join me if you want." She shrugged and said, "I'm not good at stuff like that." I didn't push her, but the next evening, I noticed she stayed in the room again, watching from the corner of her eye. This time, I decided to test something. I played one of her favorite songs and started creating my own routine on the spot. Nothing fancy, just fun and silly. When I noticed her foot tapping to the beat, I grinned. "Come on, Mia. Just one move. It's not about being good, it's about having fun." She rolled her eyes but stood up. "Fine, just one move," she said. What happened next is something I'll never forget. She started following my movements, hesitantly at first, but within minutes, we were laughing at our mistakes and high-fiving when we got it right. For the first time in months, I saw her smile. Not a polite smile, but a real, radiant one. From that day on, dancing became our thing. We'd spend hours trying out the most ridiculous challenges, laughing until our sides hurt. It wasn't just about the moves, it was about the connection we were rebuilding. Mia began opening up to me in ways she hadn't before, sharing her thoughts, her worries, and even her dreams. Have you ever experienced a moment when something simple became so much more? That's what dancing did for us. Over the months, Mia started posting her own TikTok videos. Watching her gain confidence with each post was like seeing her transform before my eyes. She wasn't just following my routines anymore, she was creating her own. And with each new video, she received comments and likes that boosted her confidence even more. One evening, as we wrapped up a practice session, Mia said something that stayed with me. I never thought I'd feel comfortable doing this. But I think I've found something that makes me happy." That moment made me realize something profound. Dancing wasn't just about moving your body, it was about moving through life's challenges, one step at a time. It gave us both a way to express ourselves, to connect, and to feel alive. Now I want to tell you my secret, a lesson I learned from someone I deeply admire, my grandmother. She's a force of nature, the kind of person who carries both wisdom and a mischievous spark in her eyes. But the truth is, for a while, I didn't recognize just how much she had to teach me. It wasn't until dancing brought us closer that I discovered her secret to a joyful, resilient life. It all started during one of our family dinners. My grandmother was quieter than usual, sitting at the table while everyone else chatted and laughed. She had been struggling with her health, and though she never openly complained, it was clear she was feeling the weight of age and isolation. I could see it in her posture, in the way she picked at her food. After dinner, I stayed behind to help her clean up, and out of nowhere, I said, "Grandma, you should try dancing with me sometime." She laughed and shook her head. "Dancing? Oh no, those days are long gone," she said. But I wasn't about to let her off the hook so easily. I pulled out my phone, played one of her favorite oldies songs, and started dancing right there in the kitchen. At first, she just laughed and waved me off, but then I saw her foot tapping to the beat. I extended my hand and said, "Come on, Grandma. Just one step. For fun." To my surprise, she took my hand. What followed was one of the most beautiful moments of my life. She moved slowly, tentatively, but there was joy in her eyes that I hadn't seen in a long time. By the end of the song, she was smiling so wide, it felt like the room itself had gotten brighter. That night was the beginning of something extraordinary. Dance therapy, a new routine. What started as a spontaneous moment in the kitchen became our weekly ritual. Every Sunday afternoon, I'd visit her, and we'd pick a song, sometimes a classic, sometimes something new, and we'd dance together. At first, it was just for fun, but over time, I began noticing changes in her. She moved with more energy, her laughter came more easily, and even her outlook seemed brighter. One day, she pulled me aside and said, "You know, I've been feeling so much better lately. I haven't had to take my pain meds as often, and I think it's because of these dance sessions." Her words stuck with me. I started researching the benefits of dance for seniors, and I was amazed at what I found. Not only does dancing improve physical health by enhancing balance and coordination, but it also has incredible effects on mental well-being, reducing stress, improving mood, and even boosting memory. Inspired by what I learned, I started tailoring our sessions to include gentle stretches and movements that suited her comfort level. It wasn't just dancing anymore, it was dance therapy. The ripple effect. As my grandmother's health improved, so did her enthusiasm for life. She started inviting her friends from the community center to join us. At first, there were only 2 or 3 ladies who shuffled awkwardly in the corner while my grandmother and I danced. But week by week, more people showed up, until her living room was filled with women laughing, moving, and cheering each other on. It became a highlight of the week, not just for her but for everyone involved. They started calling themselves the Groovy Grannies, and even joked about starting a TikTok channel. My grandmother, who had once dismissed the idea of dancing, became the unofficial leader of the group, teaching others the routines we had practiced together. One evening, after everyone had left, she showed me a small notebook. Inside, she had written down how much money she had saved on her medications over the past few months. "Do you see this?" she said, pointing to the total. $1,400. That's what I haven't spent on painkillers and doctor visits because of our dancing. I was stunned. What started as a simple way to connect had turned into something life-changing. Dancing didn't just improve her mood, it improved her health, her finances, and her sense of community. The secret to joyful living. That moment made me realize the true power of dancing. It wasn't just about the steps or the music, it was about connection, resilience, and finding joy in the little things. My grandmother's transformation showed me that it's never too late to embrace life, to find something that makes you smile, and to share that joy with others. Her secret, as she later told me, was this: happiness doesn't come from waiting. It comes from moving. Moving your body, your heart, your soul. Just keep moving, and the joy will find you. Now, whenever I feel stuck or unmotivated, I think about her words. I think about how something as simple as dancing brought light back into her life, and into mine. So, here's my question for you. What's your secret? What's the small thing you could do today to bring a little more joy, connection, or movement into your life? You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to take the first step.
Welcome to Motivation Compilation. One motivation compilation a day keeps the dark clouds of doubt away.
Download free and be inspired.
Download free files and be motivated.
How to use TikTok dance to overcome challenges with step-by-step instructions. My name is Sophia, I'm 20 years old, and I live in Chicago, Illinois. If you had told me a year ago that something as simple as TikTok dances could help me face my challenges head-on, I wouldn't have believed you. But looking back, I realized those dance steps weren't just moves. They were tools that helped me find confidence, joy, and resilience. This is my story about how dancing transformed my life, step by step. Step 1. Recognizing the problem. It all started when I felt completely stuck. I was in my second year of college, and the pressure of balancing classes, part-time work, and social expectations had left me feeling overwhelmed. Every day felt the same, a blur of lectures, assignments, and endless scrolling through my phone. One evening, I was sitting in my dorm, feeling defeated, when I came across a TikTok video of a girl dancing. She looked so carefree and happy, and I thought to myself, why don't I feel that way anymore? That question stayed with me. I realized I needed to make a change, something small, something manageable. And so, I decided to try learning one TikTok dance. Just one. Step 2. Taking the first step. I picked a simple trending dance and stood in front of my mirror. My first attempt was a disaster. My arms were uncoordinated, my feet couldn't keep up with the rhythm, and I felt like giving up before I even started. But then, something unexpected happened. I started laughing. I wasn't laughing at myself. I was laughing because, for the first time in weeks, I was doing something just for fun. Have you ever tried something new and felt silly but happy at the same time? That moment reminded me that it's okay not to be perfect. It's about the joy in trying. Step 3. Creating a routine. After that first dance, I decided to make it a daily habit. Every evening, I'd set aside 15 to 20 minutes to learn a new dance or practice the one I'd started. At first, it was just about moving my body and distracting my mind from the stress of the day. But as the days went by, I noticed something else. I was starting to feel proud of myself. Each time I mastered a new step, it felt like a small victory. Step 4. Building confidence. By the end of the first week, I felt a shift in my mindset. Dancing gave me a sense of control. No matter how chaotic my day had been, I knew I could come back to my little mirror dance sessions and feel accomplished. I started recording my progress, not to post online but to see how far I'd come. Watching those videos was eye-opening. I wasn't just improving my dance moves, I was improving my confidence. Have you ever looked back at your progress and felt a spark of pride? It's incredible how far small steps can take you. Step 5. Finding inspiration in others. One day, I finally worked up the courage to post one of my dances on TikTok. I was terrified of judgment, but to my surprise, the comments were full of support. People from all over the world left encouraging messages and even shared their own stories about how dancing had helped them. A girl from Australia messaged me saying, "Your video inspired me to start dancing too." That's when I realized TikTok wasn't just a platform. It was a community. I started following dancers who shared beginner-friendly routines and motivational content. Their stories inspired me to keep going, even on days when I didn't feel like moving. Step 6. Embracing challenges. As my confidence grew, I started tackling more complex routines. Some dances took me days to learn, and there were moments of frustration when I thought I'd never get it right. But every time I pushed through, I felt a deeper sense of accomplishment. I learned to embrace the process, the mistakes, the retries, and the small victories along the way. Step 7. Sharing the joy. By the third month, dancing had become a part of my daily routine. I started posting more videos and engaging with other creators. One of my favorite moments was collaborating with a dancer from Spain on a duet. Even though we were thousands of miles apart, it felt like we were sharing the same energy, the same joy. Dancing taught me that challenges aren't just obstacles, they're opportunities to grow. Each time I faced a difficult routine, it reminded me that I was capable of more than I thought. Final reflections. Looking back, those TikTok dances were more than just fun videos. They were my way of rediscovering myself, one step at a time. They taught me that overcoming challenges doesn't have to be overwhelming. Sometimes, all it takes is a little movement, a little joy, and a willingness to try. If you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, my advice is simple. Start small. Find something that makes you smile and commit to it, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. Who knows? You might just dance your way to a better version of yourself. There's something about challenges that tests not just your patience but your entire being. And now I will share with you the hardest challenge I've faced and how dance became my unexpected lifeline. It happened last year, right in the middle of my 30-day TikTok dance journey. Life was finally starting to feel lighter. I'd found a rhythm, not just in dancing, but in how I handled my days. Then, out of nowhere, my world tipped upside down. I got a call from my mom, her voice heavy with worry. "Sophia, your dad's in the hospital. They think it's his heart." My hands shook as I tried to process her words. My dad, the man who'd always been the steady rock in my life, was suddenly fragile, vulnerable. I rushed to the hospital, my mind racing with what-ifs. Seeing him lying there, hooked up to monitors, made me feel helpless. The doctors said he would need surgery, and though the prognosis was good, the uncertainty was crushing. I tried to stay strong for my mom and siblings, but inside I was falling apart. Dance as a refuge. During those long days in the hospital waiting room, I didn't know what to do with myself. The hours stretched endlessly, filled with anxious silences and hushed conversations. One evening, after visiting hours ended, I went back to my tiny apartment. My heart felt so heavy, I didn't think I could even eat or sleep. I opened TikTok, looking for some kind of distraction. My For You page was filled with videos of people dancing, smiling, carefree, and full of energy. For a moment, I felt disconnected, like I didn't belong to that world anymore. But then I remembered why I started this journey in the first place: to find joy in the smallest moments. I stood in front of my mirror, turned on a familiar song, and started moving. At first, it felt forced. My body was heavy with stress, my steps clumsy and uncoordinated. But as the music filled the room, something shifted. I wasn't thinking about hospital monitors or test results anymore. I was just moving. For 3 minutes, I let the rhythm carry me away from the fear and uncertainty. By the end of the song, I was out of breath, my cheeks damp with tears, but I felt lighter. It wasn't a solution to my problems, but it was a moment of relief. A reminder that even in the hardest times, it's okay to pause and let yourself feel something else, something good. Facing the challenge. The next morning, I went to see my dad with a renewed sense of strength. I held his hand and told him about the silly dance I'd learned the night before. He chuckled weakly and said, "You'll have to show me when I'm out of here." That small moment of humor, of connection, reminded me why I couldn't let fear consume me. My dad needed me to be strong, and I needed to find a way to stay grounded. Dance became my secret weapon during those weeks. Every night, I'd carve out 15 minutes to learn a new routine or revisit an old favorite. It wasn't just about the movement. It was about reclaiming a sense of control in a situation where I felt powerless. Have you ever faced a challenge so overwhelming that you needed something small, almost trivial, to anchor you? For me, that anchor was dance. A surprising turn. 2 weeks later, my dad's surgery went smoothly. As he began his recovery, I brought my phone to the hospital and showed him one of my dance videos. He laughed and said, "You've got some moves, kid." Then he added, "You know, I used to be quite the dancer myself." I was stunned. "Wait, what? You danced?" I asked, half laughing. He smiled. "Back in college. Nothing fancy, just some swing dancing at parties. Your mom loved it." Hearing that felt like discovering a hidden piece of my family's history. I asked him to show me, and to my surprise, he agreed. Standing by his hospital bed, he lifted his arms and moved his hands to mimic an old swing routine. "When I'm back on my feet," he said, "we're doing this for real." What I learned. That experience taught me that challenges don't define us. How we respond to them does. Dance didn't solve my problems, but it gave me strength to face them. It reminded me to find light even in the darkest moments, and to share that light with others. Looking back, I realized those weeks weren't just about my dad's recovery. They were about my own growth, too. I learned that resilience doesn't mean being unshakable. It means finding ways to keep moving, even when life feels heavy. So if you're going through something hard right now, I want to tell you this. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to cry, to stumble, to not know what's next. But don't forget to find your anchor, whether it's dance, music, writing, or something else. Let it remind you that you're stronger than you think. And when you find those moments of joy, however small, hold on to them. Because sometimes, those moments are what carry you through. Now I want to tell you my secret victory. The one I never thought I'd achieve, but that changed everything for me. It wasn't about winning a competition or hitting a milestone on TikTok. It was something deeper. Something that reshaped how I saw myself and what I believed I could do. For most of my life, I'd carried this invisible weight. The fear of being judged. It stopped me from raising my hand in class, from speaking up in group projects, and even from trying new things that might make me look silly. Dancing, as much as I loved it, was no exception. While I had started to embrace it in private, the idea of performing in front of others terrified me. That fear was tested when my college's cultural festival announced a group TikTok dance performance. My friend Jenna, who had seen my videos, insisted I join. "Come on, Sophia. You've been practicing for months. This is your moment, she said, practically dragging me to the sign-up sheet. I almost didn't go through with it. Standing on that stage, waiting for the music to start, I could feel every nerve in my body screaming at me to run. But then the lights dimmed, the music began, and something shifted. I stopped thinking about the crowd, the expectations, or the possibility of messing up. Instead, I focused on the rhythm, the joy of movement, and the connection I felt with my team. The moment of victory. By the end of the performance, the audience was cheering. My heart was pounding, not from fear but from exhilaration. It wasn't just about nailing the choreography. It was about stepping out of my comfort zone and proving to myself that I could do it. That night, as I stood backstage with my friends, I realized that victory wasn't about perfection. It was about showing up, taking the risk, and letting yourself be seen. What I gained, that performance did more than help me overcome my fear of judgment. It taught me that courage doesn't always roar. It sometimes whispers, just try. It showed me the power of community, of leaning on others when my confidence wavered. Most importantly, it reminded me that every small step, every stumble, and every moment of vulnerability is a part of the journey. So here's my question for you. What's your secret victory waiting to happen? Maybe it's something you've been afraid to try, or a challenge you've been avoiding. Whatever it is, take that first step. You might just surprise yourself.
Like and subscribe to my channel for watching new interesting videos.